Well, guys, with the whole algebra thing, one of the reasons you're kind of getting it, again, I kind of want to I want to learn to articulate my math so that I learn it better and so that I can pass it on to others. But the other thing is, I tried linear algebra. Now, I don't know how much you all know about algebra, but there's not just plain algebra. There's elementary algebra, but then there are specialized branches. There are more advanced branches, and so there is I want to say advanced. I think that's what I want to say. Advanced algebra, which talks about relationships between numbers, and it also talks more about, I don't know, different things, fields, and I don't know what all. And then you get into linear algebra, and linear algebra is the hot topic right now because that is what they use to produce AI. So this is the math that you need for AI, and I can't explain it to you exactly. It is very complex, but I do get why they use it for AI because AI explained it to me. Yes, AI will explain things to you. And AI explained how linear algebra is used to get it to do what it does. It explained how it worked, and I got quite the explanation. But it's fascinating. I think it's very fascinating. I'm not against AI. There's a lot of movement out there to be against AI. I'm not, because I have used it to help me along here and there. But it has limits, and I've found those limits. So it's a machine, and it is programmed initially, and then it continues to learn much as the human brain learns, but it's not exactly the same, and it's much, even with AI being, trillions of input or whatever, I don't know if it's trillions, but it's a lot. AI is still slower than the human brain. So we didn't exactly replicate the human brain, but it's based on it, basically. But it's all mathematics, and it's all based on linear algebra. So I tried to learn it. Well, I took a course in linear algebra, and it was not 5 minutes after I started that course that I went, what? And I went, okay, I actually don't have a clue. And and this was the intro to linear algebra. That's what's sad. And so I thought, well, okay. And that was when I said, what have I gotten myself into? So that's when I learned more about what it was. And then once I learned more about what it was, then I said, well, I need to go back further to the basics because I'm not ready for that level. So then I started going back to basic algebra. That's kind of how this came up. Well, and then I did go over a course. There was a course I found by a young person, of course, that said linear algebra is actually easy. And I thought, that was not my experience. So I listened to the video and I followed it through. I got pencil and paper and I followed it through and began to realize what we were doing. And so I was able to follow the video. I was able to see what he was doing, but to replicate it myself right now, I couldn't. So I'm still working on this. And eventually I'd like to get myself to a level that I can take one of those courses on linear algebra. Right now, I would say it's Greek to me, but Greek would be easier. So anyway, if you don't know what linear algebra is, I might put a link in here for you, maybe a couple. And but this is a new field, and I am studying the LMMs, the large, or is it LLMs? Large language models that they use for AI, and more about how AI works and that type of thing. So that's some of the stuff that I've been getting into lately on my own studies, and just wanted to add the linear algebra, but it'll be a while. I'm continually going over it, and I'm hoping that it comes to me a little more clear. You're really supposed to have calculus first, and I have not. I've had explanations of calculus, and I kind of get it, but I haven't actually had it, so I might need to back up. I tried to take geometry not too long ago because I hadn't had geometry. See, in my school systems growing up, we could take one math course and we were done. Like in high school, we had to take one math course. We didn't have to take the rest. A lot of people did anyway, but I didn't like math. Somebody, I don't know, somebody drilled it into me that I was no good in math. I'm not no good in math. That's not true. But I just, I guess what I want to say is that I think I didn't learn it correctly and probably thinking the wrong concepts and things like that. And I also think somebody told me I couldn't do math, and then you just carry that around, you know. So what happened to me was I took a veterinary assisting course in Colorado Springs, and there was a very large math segment, and I said, well, I do everything really well except math. And they said, oh, well, you're going to get a lot of math. And I went, and I was like, well, I can't do math. And they said, yes, you can. We're putting you in this class. Well, the class they put me in happened to be the most intense one. Thanks, guys. And so anyway, but we had an excellent instructor. His name was Jason. I will never forget this guy. And he came off like a drill sergeant, but I don't know, didn't care. and so anyway, he was a really good math teacher. But he gave us a quiz the first day, and I was in tears. I couldn't even do it. And I took this quiz to him and I said, I'm sorry, I guess I shouldn't be in this course. I'm just too stupid for this. I just can't do it. And he says, who told you that? I said, what? And he said, well, who told you that? Who told you can't do math? And I said, I don't know. I just can't. I've never been good at it. And he said, well, you like languages, right? That was, we had done a introductory thing where you talk about yourself, and I'd said, I enjoy languages. I said, well, yes. He says, if you can do languages, you can do math. I've heard that a lot. I don't know if that's true, but I've heard it a lot. And he says, you know, I bet, and he says, you like music too. I'd mentioned that as well. And I said, yes. And he said, well, music is mathematical, which it is. And he says, well, actually, I do all kinds of mathematical things, but I'm just not making the connections in my head and haven't been taught to do so. So then I found a math teacher who I do really like. I might put one of his links in too. And I go back to his videos from time to time. I actually took an actual course from him as well. And he's from Indiana, and he's really good at explaining things. So I studied under him for a little bit, still do occasionally, still go back to those occasionally. And I've, done others too. So continuing my own math education, then I got to where I could do math much better. But I don't have that natural bingo ability to do it, I have to work at it. But I think there's a lot of people that have to work at it. But the thing is, if you work at it, you can do it. And that's what I learned. So anyway, I love math. I think it's really, I used to hate it. I love it now. And I just wanted to tell you, thinking I can do something makes a whole difference in pretty much everything you do.